Why doesn't Batman have supervision?
Oh, geez. I don't know.
Because bats are blind.
No, because his parents died. It's Sunday night, and you found the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Happy Sunday! We are so excited to be here with you once again. We would like to welcome Tim the Comic Collector, but he does not want to join us tonight, so
Yeah,
I still
he
left
said
the link.
that.
Yeah, he specifically said that. I still left the link for his channel in the description to this video, though, so you can sub him up. We would say hello to a fanboy who was here last week, which is Comic Food 2814.
Hi.
How was your week?
It was good. It was good. It was even better having been on Fanboys last week, you know?
Yeah, because that
Going
was
all
pretty
week
good.
long with the energy of that, you know?
Yeah, although you wore me out so much last week that I just and left at the end.
Yeah, you did. That's right.
I was like,
at the end of the show.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
No, in
My
reality,
Did you go back and rewatch it?
I haven't.
Oh, you gotta go do it.
Oh,
You gotta
really?
go see me trying to stall and just like, completely fail. And
What
I'm
happened
like,
was my power flickered in my apartment. The entire thing did, and that knocked me out.
So it was
And-
a channel takeover, is what you mean?
No, it was on my channel.
It was on his channel.
Oh,
He
okay.
just dropped out, and the last thing you ever want is to leave me there to fill the space because
By himself.
I can't do
You're
it.
not a dead air guy.
No.
Yeah.
Just show some books.
No.
Okay.
And a week ago today, where were you, Signature King?
What's today? Sunday? Somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean.
So you're a big fan of that Ellen DeGeneres.
That's a weird way to pronounce Aquaman, but must be French or something. Sure,
No, she's
we'll
not
go
in
with-
Aquaman. She was in that movie Titanic.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, I got the reference now. I got it.
She played Jack Dawson.
Yes. And there was room on the door.
Yeah, there
Scientifically
was.
proven. You can fit like 5 people on that door, by the way.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, what I'm really wondering more than your vacation was your Terrificon terrific?
I didn't go to Terrificon.
Oh, it wasn't Terrificon. It was Baltimore Comic Con.
Yes,
that's
there
what
it
it
is.
was. Okay, how was your was your Baltimore Comic Con Baltimoreic?
Let me get some King Bling here. That's right, baby. 3 Jeff Johns passes. See if I can get this on. Yep. So I walked around like a big time player in the comic community. It was a real quick review. Hey, Baltimore Comic Con, maybe fix your elevators. It's not that I couldn't get to the 4th floor. I'll huff it if I have to. But the guy in the wheelchair, he kind of needs to get to the 4th floor. He cannot walk. I felt bad, so I helped him out.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
so
it was fun. It was fun.
When Jeff Johns got done with you the first time and he goes, next, and you hold up your laminate, does he kind of go, oh, like that?
Well,
and then he goes, next, and then you hold up your next laminate, and then he goes, oh.
He did make a comment, and he's like, oh, that's cool. Like, did you buy all those? And I said, yes. And he's like, why? And I was like, because I couldn't decide, like, because one badge is 4 books signed.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, listen, man, I love your stuff. How am I supposed to pick 4 books? Like, are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I need at least a dozen.
Did they give you 3 prints then?
Yep.
Good, because they should have.
They did. They honored their deal. Yeah, there was no problem.
What were the
that.
prints of?
I'll show them at the end of the show.
At the end? Okay.
Yep.
All right, fair enough.
But they're really cool. They're really cool.
So who did you all meet?
Someone I've never met before.
We've only got an hour here last. So.
I'll be brief. Someone I've met before. It was I'll say Mark Wade. Cool guy. Love seeing Mark Wade. Super nice. Someone I never met before, other than Jeff Johns. I would say Tony Harris. who's currently doing the 1 in 25 or did the 1 in 25 variants for Night Terrors. So that was fun to meet him. I think Lasso froze. Yep.
Oh, I think he did.
He's back.
Hello.
He's back. Okay. I was like, man, he's really listening, like laser focused on what I have to say. But yeah, it was fun. I had a lot of fun. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah. I mean, it always could be better, but it could always be worse. So
Nice.
It was great.
A good time.
Can't wait to...
I think you had a good time. I didn't get most of it, but I think you had a good time.
Well, I got what you needed, so I don't want to spoil it any more than that.
Well,
I'm
having a good time. Thank you. Thank you.
You were 1 for 1.
Yeah.
You needed 1. I got you 1.
1 for 1. Awesome. That's awesome. Cool. Say hello to our first live chatter with us. And by the way, if you're watching on the rewind, hello to you. We say hello to James, Warlord. I'm glad that you're here.
How's it going, James?
Mr. Warlord.
Food, do you have something for sale currently?
Yeah, I do.
Funny you mentioned that.
What you got going on?
This weekend, I launched my latest round of mystery boxes. They are 10 books, all first issues, and it is only $19 shipped. So it's basically $1 book plus shipping.
You mean all first issues? You mean like number ones or first print?
All number ones.
All number ones. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So there's first appearances, some keys, some exclusives, all around very solid boxes. And I think I have 1 DC box left.
Ooh.
And a few Marvel and a few indie. But yeah, DC is almost sold out.
Very cool.
So yeah, it's been a busy day getting all of the shipping taken care of. But yeah.
I still think that you're on the verge of buying something really huge. I do. I think something's going on there.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
I agree. You're making some kind of big purchase.
Yeah, he's wheeling and dealing for something really big.
Yeah. The problem is what? Because he already has so much.
I have a good idea, but I'm not going to say it on the stream.
Yeah,
Okay.
you'll jinx it.
Yeah. Well, maybe
And then we'll find it.
Oh, yeah. I think he's after a book that I really want. That's what. I don't think he's after a book that I have. I think he's after a book that I want. Because there's one that I have that he wants. That's a higher price book. That I know that. But I think he's going after the one that I want. So no one else understands that. I think he does. So
You've got a Justice League 1, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Dang.
Hello to Super Russ 9000. Russ had me on his show Let's Talk Comics last night, which was a lot of fun, and we talked comics.
Wow, talk about bottom of the barrel, Russ.
Yeah, I know.
What are you talking about? He didn't get to me yet.
His 4th episode, and he couldn't get anyone else.
Oh man.
Go check it out.
Oh, I think I sold you a box.
I will tack the last DC. I will take the least. I will take the last DC. Okay.
I will tack the less DC.
Yeah. I think it's take the last. All right, James. We can talk after the show.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
Batman Day. Anybody do anything cool for Batman Day?
I was on Super Russ 9000's Let's Talk Comics.
Oh, but I mean, like,
Talk about
was there a
Superman?
book? Did LCS do anything? I don't know.
I don't know.
Were there any like free Batman Day stuff?
I don't know.
You know what? Now that I mention it, oh no, I was at my LCS on Friday. Yeah, I think I missed it.
Interesting. Yeah, I have to
I
check my
saw
LCS.
2 people with Batman shirts on Batman Day, and one of them did it on purpose, and the other one, I said, "Oh, you're wearing that for Batman Day," and they had no idea it was Batman Day.
I saw some
You got
Batman
it,
shirts on the cruise, so
Did you?
yes, I did. I saw a kid, even though it's Marvel, I gotta say it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. A kid, like 5-6 years old, on formal night, in a Marvel logo suit. It just had a bunch of Marvel logos with a tie and a matching vest. It's a 3-piece suit, all with Marvel logos on the pants and the socks.
Hey, Tony, how many
That's
prizes
funny.
did you award?
Oh, you mean the Superman 500 prizes?
Well, you never told people that's what they were, but I knew that's what they were. How many did you award?
I got about half gone.
Really?
Yeah. A couple people
Was
recognized
that Comic-Con?
at Comic-Con.
Now,
So
on the
people
cruise
found
ship?
you?
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
people on the cruise ship found you?
Oh, nobody.
So wait,
Nobody.
people actually came looking for you at Comic-Con.
Yes. For the
works.
prize. It
That
works.
is wild.
I got a lot of subs, and I met some other cool YouTubers who I never heard of.
Oh, you've
Well-
just solidified for me. I'm never going to a Comic-Con again now.
Why?
Because I don't want to run into anyone.
No, man, it was awesome because just standing in line, chat with some of them, like I got a ton of ideas and things that I've been doing wrong, spinning my wheels, get frustrated for no reason.
Well, you didn't have to go to Comic-Con for that. You got us two to help you with that.
Yeah, you're 14,000 subscribers. I met a gentleman.
14,000.
I want to shout out Near Mint Condition on YouTube. He's got like 88,000 subs. And I met him and his whole crew and his wife because we spent way too long in the Jeff Johns line chatting and talking about books. So he gave me a bunch of cool tips and ideas. So definitely look for Near Mint Condition on YouTube and Instagram.
That's cool.
We'll have to have him on the show.
Yeah. That'd be
he's-
awesome.
He found success early on YouTube, and he does it full time now. So
Oh, awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
good for him. He went from nothing to 88K subs in not a very long time.
Wow.
So he must be doing something right.
Must be.
Yeah.
So when it comes to news, I think there's some furry news this week, right?
There is.
I think
I'll let Comic Food talk about it. I don't want to steal anybody's thunder.
Well, this December, the Teen Titans, I guess, has a new event coming where I think it centers around Beast Boy, and the members of the team all get turned into furries.
Does that include Joanne?
No,
Oh,
No.
Joanne doesn't?
no, but I did see a picture of furry Harley. So Harley,
Yeah, and is that the one in her rabbit where she's like a rabbit?
she's been turned into a rabbit? Yes. So
That one's horrifying.
I'm sure.
My
some,
opinion is slightly biased, but
I'm sure
Hey,
some. I'm
break
sure
your
some,
Easter rabbit suit out, Tony.
ugh,
I'm sure some bunny would like it.
that bunny ain't me. But it looks like Starro's in it, just from judging by
Yep.
some of the covers. So Starro plays a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Black Adam is some kind of gorilla, maybe ape. I don't know.
Yeah. Or some, yeah. I don't know.
I'm not sure what that is. Yeah.
I don't know either.
Either Batman or Nightwing is some kind of wolf. I don't know. Harley Quinn's a weird looking rabbit. Yeah, a lot of, I don't want to ruin all of it, but it looks interesting. It's different. I'll take
it's
it.
different.
We got Tom Taylor on the writing, and Travis Moore doing some of the artwork.
Travis Moore is so good. I like him.
I like some of his stuff. And it looks like Cully Hemner is doing some of the variant covers, which is kind of neat. I like his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tony, did you see the Aquaman 2 trailer?
Did you hear about the Aquaman 3 news?
No.
Oh, well, it's a go. Jason Momoa is still Aquaman.
Aquaman 3?
Aquaman 3. And this is coming from James Wan.
Why are they announcing that before the second one's even come out?
Yes, Mr. Lasso.
I'd like to know in Aquaman 3 who will be playing Mera.
Yeah.
Probably nobody.
I heard, now, I don't watch trailers. I heard there was a blink and you'll miss it Amber Heard cameo.
Well, I'm sure they have to put her in just to fit her in the story and minimize her screen time as much as possible and still make the story make sense.
Well, I'll tell you, that surprises me to hear that they're already announcing a third, because from what I've seen so far, people haven't exactly loved the new trailer.
It's just a trailer. Yeah, Aquaman. Oh yeah, Look who's here. We start talking
Yeah.
about Aquaman. But
Yeah,
according to
what do you think
James
of the
Wan,
trailer?
I have not seen it, to be honest with you.
It's
when did it get released? Yesterday or today?
A couple days ago. So
Okay.
here's the I'm not going to spoil much because I know Lasso doesn't watch trailers, but
Mhm.
it's well, first off, the trailer starts out like, "Hi, I'm Aquaman, and this is my life," and it's like, "Oh, really?" And then it seems like an absolute rehash of the last movie. Like everything's the same. Like, I mean, he's the king now, of course, of Atlantis, but yeah, it's all the same characters and all. So
So coming from who said this? Peter Safran saying we always saw Aquaman as a trilogy, and coming from James Wan, he said nobody told him that they were done making Aquaman movies because he's working on the third one right now. Well, not right now because of the strike, but
yeah, we'll have to see how it does. I mean, these last two movies last three, right? No, last four have not been great.
well, that doesn't mean that Aquaman, like Jason Momoa Aquaman, is I liked Aquaman 1. I thought it was great.
Well, I realize, actually, no, I take that back. The last five movies, I think, have all failed.
Failed. Right? I use that word, failed.
Blue Beetle.
I didn't
The
see it.
Flash.
I liked it.
Those technically didn't fail.
Black Adam.
I liked it.
Loved it.
You can like it, but it did not do what they needed it to do.
Well, they just say that, and they give it these astronomical.
Didn't
well, if
the
it doesn't
Flash
make
lose money, or was that Blue Beetle, or did they both?
I don't recall.
Wonder Woman 84 didn't even make it to the theaters. Fury of the Gods, I think that lost money, didn't it?
It was a great movie, though.
See, you're fanboying.
I know I am. Totally, my opinion is completely biased.
This isn't good. Like, this is like a serious, like, if you are losing money, that's a problem.
It could be a contractual thing. Like, he signed a 3-contract trilogy, and maybe they're fulfilling an obligation. I have no idea. But from James Wan's mouth, nobody told him that he couldn't continue writing Aquaman 3. And
sure
to this day, it's still.
Well, I could write Aquaman 3. It doesn't mean it's going to get filmed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they told the Batgirl writer lots of stuff too.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, can you imagine they filmed that movie and then it never sees the light of day?
It was finished.
Yeah, I know. But Batgirl, I would say, has a smaller fan base than, let's say, Jason Momoa Aquaman.
Yeah, I agree.
Blue Beetle even broke on its budget. So, yeah, you can see that. What I don't want to do is what Russ says. I don't want him to jump characters. I think that's a really bad idea. That's me. I think it's really stupid. In the past, not DC movies, just movies in general, where actors swap roles, it's never worked out. Even in small roles like TV.
Excuse me. Christopher Evans was the Human Torch, and Christopher Evans was Captain America, and he was good at both of them. And no one said.
Universe. Different.
No one said.
I think that's the exception. And
well, Chris Evans kind of is the exception to most rules.
Yeah. But I like the cast. I like Patrick Wilson as Orm. I think he does a great Ocean Master. Who's the guy that got playing Black Manta? I can never remember his name, and I can never pronounce it either.
I don't know.
But I thought he was a home run as Black Manta. I thought it was a great cast.
If we're talking about not knowing how to pronounce people's names, how do you pronounce the name of the person who played Blue Beetle?
Yeah, what the heck?
I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it either.
I don't even know how to pronounce his first name.
Him. That guy's Aquaman. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah. Abdul Mateen.
That guy. Great Black Manta. Home run cast. Plays it off well. I'm sold.
Cholo?
And Affleck went from but he's not swapping characters in the same universe. You know what I mean? Completely different universe. Like, you remember those old 90s, like sitcoms were like, oh, this person had a scheduling conflict. Let's get a substitute actor in for a couple episodes.
Roseanne
was notorious for it. And it bothered me. Like, that's not the same character.
There were
like,
two Beckys.
Yeah.
But you know what show really was the most guilty of it? Show called, I don't know if you ever heard of the show. It's called Bewitched.
Yes.
Yeah. There were two Darrens. There were two Louise Tates. There were two Gladys Kravitz.
Yeah. Yeah. But those, that's all I got really for news. Just the
I've got
furry and Aquaman. All right. Perfect.
So something really kind of interesting came out this week. There was a Substack article from Bill Willingham. He is the creator of Fables, which is a DC Comics title.
Oh, yeah. I did see that.
And but so this is an interesting story because this guy, Bill Willingham, created the comic and still owns the rights to it. So he owns the rights, but I guess I don't mean to, I don't know all the specifics of it, but in some way licenses it, I guess, to DC for them to use, right? And so DC's writers would go and take the story where they wanted it. But it's, this is an older title. He's an older guy. I think he said he's 67 years old. And so he comes from an earlier time. And as he puts it, it's a time of, you just handshake and your word. And at the time that he made this arrangement with DC, obviously they had a contract, but also kind of this agreement, I guess, that, things would be run by him. And I think some of it was even in the contract, like decisions would be run by him first before they changed anything, all that kind of thing. And I guess over the years, DC did not stick to their end of the agreement. And the part I found so interesting was his telling of how, the people that he spoke to and made the agreement with, they've all come and gone, right? And so it's a new set
regime kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, a new set of people that come into DC, and this new class, just they don't care as much about keeping their word or the word of the past, right? And these agreements. And so he would find that, I guess, payments were late or not what they should have been. He wasn't getting credit for certain things. They weren't running things by him. And basically he had enough of it. And he, in kind of a critique of the whole industry, but really DC as a company, I guess, basically stating that this is not the same company that it once was. It's run by completely different people. And so he decided there was only one thing he could do to protect his IP, right? And he went ahead and gave DC the old middle finger and made it available to the public domain. So Fables is now available for anybody to carry forward and essentially do what they want with. And it's taken the power away from DC. They thought, I guess this is his side of the story, but it sounds like from them, they thought they were the big company. They could kind of like do as they please. What is he going to do? Hire a lawyer, right? And he acknowledged that. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to hire a lawyer for this, but I guess this is the one thing he could do. He could just simply pull the rug out from under them and say, yeah, this is what it was about all along, just the creative effort. And I don't care about the games anymore. So I thought that was really interesting.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. There's an update to that.
Okay.
As of 9:46 this morning.
Oh, okay.
So super fresh. And it's from DC Official. They made an official statement.
Okay. I didn't see this.
Today, on a Sunday. Yeah.
Wow.
That's how big. And it says the Fables comic books and graphic novels published by DC and the storylines, characters, and elements there within are owned by DC and protected under copyright laws of the United States and throughout the world in accordance with applicable laws and are not public domain. DC reserves all right and will take such action as they deem necessary or appropriate to protect its intellectual property rights.
Oh, it's
so
going to
DC says You want to fight? Let's fight.
He said he knew that this might happen, and he said, but those guys haven't read their contract in the past, and they've been wrong in the past, and they should go read their contract because he owns it. We'll see. I don't know. I'm just reading off the Substack. So
Yeah.
this is something to follow along, though, I think, and see kind of how it goes.
Yeah. Hello to Kenneth Bird, who stopped by.
I kind of want him to win.
I kind of do too.
Just
Because
so
I've seen the same stuff. I mean, this is corporate America, unfortunately. Like,
thank God Joe Shuster and Jerry Siegel got a contract and made everything official, and they protected themselves. I know Bill Finger and Batman guy. Bob Kane.
Bob Kane.
Yeah.
Did the same thing, and I think more content creators need to do that to protect themselves.
With Wonder Woman, I mean, created by William Moulton Marston, I think one of the smartest things that he ever did is said, if you don't publish my character as a headliner 6 times a year, then you lose the rights to my character. Granted, regardless if Wonder Woman comic books sell or not, Wonder Woman licensing makes money.
So is the merch. They got to keep.
That's what I mean.
If they want the merch, you're right. Yep.
It's the licensing that really makes money off of Wonder Woman.
That's smart. Man, that is smart.
But he did that in 1941, he negotiated that. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's funny because he was just at Baltimore Comic-Con.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've met him before. I didn't have anything for to sign this year, but nice guy. Really nice guy. I kind of wish he was there. What?
Bill Willingham?
Yep. Kind of wish I did have something for him to sign. So, I mean, I wouldn't know about this, but I'd love to pick his brain now that I know, and talk to him. But man, interesting. Go Bill. Give him hell, Bill. But I still like DC. Just figure your stuff out, guys. Come on. There's no need for this. No need. That's all I got. Yeah, I'm good.
Yep, that's all I had for the news.
That's all I have for the news. Oh, wait, I have one question before we segue into the retro review. This upcoming Tuesday is the first Tom King Wonder Woman issue. Is anyone buying it besides me? You're buying it?
Well, technically, I bought one already.
Why are you shaking your head now? It's
I'm
a
not
first
buying
issue.
that.
You love first issues.
Nope.
You don't like first issues. He's selling them all.
There's foil. There's a foil version of it. You love foil.
No.
Yep.
No, I'm good.
I bought the foil.
Are you excited, Lasso?
I've seen the first couple pages.
Okay.
I think it'll do well. Tom King.
I think it's going to do well because there's people that are going to buy just because it's him. He has a fan base of.
He's got a loyal fan base.
Whatever he is working on.
Dana Sempre is a great artist. He has a cult following too.
Yeah, he is a good artist.
It's I think it's a good team up, and I think it'll do really well. I do.
We'll see.
Although I'm not a big fan of Wonder Woman's daughter aspect. Like, it's not really what I want.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll try to not cast.
It's gonna be all you get.
Could be.
I like Diana Prince Wonder Woman. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Donna Troy's Wonder Girl. That's it. I don't like all the spin-offs, the Yara Flores, the Nubias. They're great characters, don't get me wrong.
Like Cassie Sandmark.
I don't like Cassie. I don't like Artemis. I don't care for the other ones. They can have their own stories, but yeah, whatever. But I don't like Diana Prince. That's it.
So, Fu, you picked our retro review tonight. Tell me, I think I know why you picked it, but let's hear it from you.
Oh, I was just looking for a title where we could, pick a one-off story. And I've always really enjoyed collecting the Secret Origins title. So it's one of those titles where I'd like to complete the run. So, yeah.
And this is volume 2. This is the one that started right after Crisis. So this title was very relevant because some people's origins had changed at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
cool.
In
fact, I've got the volume 1 stuff because there's Green Lantern stories in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The volume 1 was mostly consisted, I think, though, of reprints, right?
Maybe, yeah. It was
I
only
think it
like
is.
a few issues, right?
Yeah, because the Wonder Woman one that they did was Wonder Woman and Wildcat, but it's a complete reprint of Sensation Comics #1, which was Wildcat's first appearance and Wonder Woman's first headlining appearance. So,
Interesting.
want to get
All
started?
right.
Who wants to go first? Or
I'll go
I
It's
first.
just you guys tonight.
it's just us? Okay.
I
If
was
you
just
wanna go
driving
first, though,
tonight.
you can.
Go for it.
Oh, okay. Here, let me share my screen. So I took issue number 4. We're going to get the secret origin of Firestorm.
Ooh. Very cool.
All right. So again, this is a title that's similar to DC Comics Presents, where you get a single story in each issue, so you really can read them on their own. And you get the background to different characters. So it's a good introduction to a character maybe that you've heard of but don't know all about. So this is from 1986. We've got Firestorm the Nuclear Man. All right, so we start off here. It's Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we've got Ronald and the professor basically kind of arguing back and forth, just a bit, friendly argue. The professor's saying, do you have to stop for every small crime, everything that you hear on the police radio? And he's like, well, yeah, it's fun. But the professor's like, yeah, but I got testigrades still tonight. And he's like, oh, okay, I get it. So they part ways. And for those that aren't familiar, Firestorm is powered by the atom. So he's got nuclear powers, I guess. And it's not just one person. It's actually 2 people that were fused together in an accident, and they fused together to become Firestorm. So here they are separating again. And they go their separate ways. So the professor goes back to the office. He's grading his tests, and he's thinking back on his life about how he first came to be Firestorm. And he's thinking back to his college days when he was bullied by these 2 guys in the back there. So here he is with this girl, that he's kind of interested in. He's thinking of asking out, actually. And they're kind of talking. And these 2 bullies come up behind him. And he's like, oh, great. And he's been trying to avoid them. And you can see he's much smaller than these guys. And he doesn't really know how to handle it. And so this bully of his basically is asking to cheat off of his test on the final the next day. And he's threatening him, of course, as bullies do, until he finally gets the professor to agree that he will go along with him. And in doing so, he knocks his books out of his hand. You can see he's picking them up. And the girl that he's with is trying to console him and ask him, if he wants some help and all. But you can see he's just so distraught by what just happened. Honestly, he's embarrassed by the fact that this all happened in front of her. And he tells her to just go away. And we'll see here in a bit that that's actually going to become a problem in the future. So, in fact, actually, it's right here. I'm sorry. So here's where he reflects why it's a problem, because she runs away crying because here she liked him too. And she interpreted him telling her to go away as that she must not be pretty enough, right? And really, it was just him being embarrassed having that happen in front of her. So they both liked each other, but the wires got crossed. And that's a problem because she ends up learning to hate him in the future, and she's actually becomes Killer Frost. And so this creates kind of the rivalry. So not the girl you want upset with you. So anyway, so on to the next day, you can see he makes his test available to cheat from, only he purposefully got every question wrong. 2 days later, when the bully finds out, of course, you know what happens. He decks him. He's begging people. The professor's begging people to help him. Like, it's really kind of sad. He's like, please help me. Don't let him hit me anymore. And he says, nobody did a thing. And that's when he realized nobody would ever help him. and he was alone. He was helpless. He was humiliated. And the only place he had to go to escape was his own mind. And so that's what he did. So he dedicated himself to science and learning, and excelled very well in that. He went on to do all these experiments, become very famous. He worked at Star Labs, and he went on to create the very first self-driven nuclear reactor. So he is goes out to celebrate, and he meets this woman, and they hit it off immediately. In fact, they end up having a one-night stand. They go home that night together, and a week later they are married. It's again kind of sad. It's kind of a story we've heard before, but he keeps doing better with his work, but she's burning through the money faster than he can make it. And when he kind of confronts her on it and says, "Hey, we can't afford this," she's having none of it. She's like, "I thought you liked buying me things." And so they argue back and forth. And finally he's like, "Would you just please stop and listen to me? Shut up and listen to me." He grabs her arm. Of course, that's not good. She doesn't react well to that at all and says, "Just stay away from me." And next thing you know, yeah, they're getting a divorce. So she leaves him. And that ultimately leaves him to start drinking. So again, like I said, a kind of a old story here, but his drinking, he kind of keeps it under control. He continues to work. Like I said, he built the first self-controlled or fully automated nuclear power plant. And so he is just about to get that built or have it turned on, and these protesters show up against nuclear power. And this one kid grabs him by the shoulder, and he swears it's the bully from college, right? And he shoves him away. He's like, "Oh, I'm glad the press wasn't there." But they're like, "Oh, you see him?" And his assistant calls him out on it. He's like, "Dude, you didn't have to do that. That you thought it looked like somebody, but that guy was just a kid. You don't know him." And so they stop for a drink, and his assistant realizes that he's too comfortable with the alcohol, right? And so with that, he realizes that he's got something on him, and he basically at that point decides to begin stealing from the lab. And when he's confronted by the professor, he basically says, he's like, you can't do anything. I'll just tell them all you're an alcoholic, and I'll tell them that you stole my plans, that this was all my idea. And you can see he hits him out of his way, and the professor's like, "You're fired," right? And he's like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'll be back." So the professor is obviously stressed. All this is happening to him. So he decides, you know what? He's going to go ahead and turn the reactor on himself. He's going to go full Homer Simpson on this and just control the nuclear reactor all by his lonesome. And he's doing it in the middle of the night, so that nobody knows. He's had enough of it. But at the same time, these protesters break in to the lab in the middle of the night. And in doing so, they actually see this guy that they're towing along. This was this guy that was basically a member of theirs, but then said, "Hey guys, this is crazy. We can't do this." And so they actually ended up knocking him out, as you can see there in the middle panel. And they bring him along to be the patsy. So the professor catches them. They, knock him out too. And when the patsy guy and the professor wake up, you can see there's a bomb there around the reactor. Now, this guy, the fall guy here, his name's Ronny Raymond. You may know him, recognize that name. He could have gotten away, but he wasn't going to leave this stranger there. He knew it was innocent. And so he tries to help him escape. And unfortunately, the bomb goes off. Now, at the same time, his assistant guy, Danton Black, had also come back to the lab. We see him there. He was also blown away in this explosion. But this wasn't any normal explosion. Again, there's radiation and all, and it's a superhero comic. So we know, of course, this is going to create some kind of superpower. it actually turns Danton black into a villain known as Multiplex. So that's his origin. And then also Ronny, Raymond, and the professor here, you can see they were blown together, and that is how they were fused together to form Firestorm. So this was the origin of their accident. And there we go. We get Multiplex and Firestorm here. So they go on, and Professor talking about grading tests, and goes out to dinner with friends. Basically, that was at the end of his night. After he got done thinking about his past, he went out to dinner with his friends to relax. So there you go. We got the secret origin of Firestorm.
The not so secret origin.
So what I think that I remember about reading about this, what kind of made this origin of Firestorm special, because DC had done Firestorm's origin, I mean, a good handful of times before this issue, including even like 2 years before this issue. But this was the first time, I understand, that Firestorm's origin was told from Martin Stein's perspective, which is what makes it unique.
Yeah. Very cool.
Interesting. Yeah. I do have a question about Multiplex.
Yes.
Is he a villain that just shows bad movies?
Yes.
Okay. That's
He's an evil movie theater.
He's an evil movie theater.
Yeah. Once you get in, you have to sit through the whole showing.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
and there's no refills on popcorn.
Nope.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Yeah, no refills either.
And they just play Ms. Marvel on repeat.
Oh boy, you're in trouble.
You have to sit through the whole showing. Ooh.
Phil, if you wouldn't mind doing an assist on issue number 1, we're actually going to go back to issue 1, which is what I'm going to do for the retro review. So check out this cover, first of all. So look at these heroes there, with a very iconic scene that they're looking at in a crystal ball. Incidentally, you can kind of tell there's a female between Flash and Dr. Fate. We see the back of her head. Do you know who that is?
Lois Lane?
Nope.
Black Canary?
Nope. Good guess though. That's Huntress.
Oh yeah.
I see the horns now. Yeah.
So one thing I want to say before we even get into page 1 here with my story, you're going to hear some names specifically and some things with the Superman origin that you might think I have gotten wrong or that I have screwed up or somehow, which I could certainly understand you thinking I screwed something up, but there were some name changes and even some spelling changes in the original Superman origin, but we're so used to how it got changed to, for like, pay attention when I say the name of Jonathan Kent's wife, because it's not the name that you're going to expect me to say.
Okay.
And there's going to be some other things too, and we can talk about those if you want at the end. But the first page, and I really want to spend a moment on the first page here. Not only do we get a great splash here, but it essentially sets us up for what's going on in this issue. It says, the crisis on infinite Earths has ended, but all the paradoxes remain, even flourish. These are the stories which need to be telling, and they shall be told. But one of the most perplexing and most poignant of these paradoxes is the passing of the original Superman from the collective memory of virtually all mankind. Can
you share again? I accidentally.
Oh, I'm sorry. The original Superman, Kal-L, which is Kal-L, not E-L, just -L. Kal-L is now vanished forever into the oblivion of the antimatter universe. And then they talk how from 1938 to 1985, the first Superman was a living, breathing force for good upon an Earth which no longer exists and which no longer is even remembered. But we remember him, and this is his story, his first story. So now we start out with the Encyclopedia Galactica, 30th century edition, and it talks about Krypton and how the inhabitants of Krypton are a super race whose specimens are capable of strength, speed, and vitality compared to most Earth standards, human standards. One of those is the ability to outrace the fastest human-made person too. And we see Jor-L, and he is leaping a tall structure with little effort to get home to Lara, his wife. And he arrives back, and Lara is there with their newborn son. And, he talks about how he loves science, but he loves his family more, and he wants to see his newborn son. And Jor-L takes him up into his arms and talks about how high-spirited he is. And all of a sudden, the earth starts to rumble a little bit. And they're like, oh no, it's another landquake. And make sure that we don't drop the baby. And Lara loses her balance for a second. And Jor-L is saying he'll swat away the portions of the ceiling that collapsed their way. And they start talking about this one was even stronger than before. And it just reinforces his idea. And Jor-L says, we don't have any choice. We have to get out of this home. Even though this is a pretty sturdy and structural sounding home, we have to get out of here. The end of Krypton is going to come. But we have another house that we can go to. And for our own life and for our son's life, we need to leave. So they do leave just as the building starts to collapse on them. And they say, well, luckily the people below can leap to safety and they should be okay. So they end up at their other home. And they figure that they're going to have a little more protection. In their other home is a prototype space flyer that Jor-L has been working on. And he did it and built this so it could support distant life, support a planet that we could locate and it would reach there, which would be Earth. And he's like, if this is successful, he'll build larger models, a whole fleet of them. All of a sudden, this seems to be really the big one, the big landquake. And Krypton is starting and headed for destruction. Even in their very reinforced home, they're in trouble. The very ground is starting to heave and give way. And they realize they only have minutes. And there's only room in that rocket for one. And it's so small, the decision's made that baby Kal-L will be put in there. So Jor-L loads him in there. They fire the rocket off. And essentially, what we know, Krypton ends up exploding. But it's just a matter, even though it's light years away, it's programmed in a journey to only last a few days before this rocket ship lands in Kansas. And then we see a couple, John Kent and his wife, Mary Kent, an elderly couple. She's saying, John, stop the car. It's some type of rocket. And, there's a baby or something. So Mary Kent pulls the baby out and she's like, we'll take care of him. And they notice that the rocket starts burning up. But to make everything official, they take the baby to an orphan asylum. And people in this orphanage are just astounded by the things that this baby can do. They said even yesterday he lifted a whole bureau over his head without even trying. But the Kents legally adopted him. Nobody else was really interested in this child because of these weird things that were happening with him, and they named him Clark. So as Clark grows, John Kent tells him, you've got to hide your great strength from people, son, or they'll be afraid of you. But when the time comes, you must use it to assist humanity. So we see that this Clark Kent, as he's growing up, he thinks about what life would be like if he lived in Metropolis instead of little Smallville. And, he could even leap over one of their big skyscrapers, probably. He sees how strong he is. He can lift a car. He can outrace a train. And as he goes to the doctor can't even penetrate his skin with a needle. They broke in 6 of them already. And he just says, try again, doc. They must be defective. But as time goes on, we see that Mary and John Kent both have passed away. So Clark has decided to move to Metropolis. We see a very Billy Batson-looking type character selling a newspaper behind him. And Clark realizes the Daily Star, the newspaper. That's it. So he goes to talk to the Daily Star's editor, whose name is George Taylor. And he says, I don't have much experience, but I'll make a good reporter. And George Taylor's like, sorry, can't use you. Then for the first time, Clark walks out and becomes Superman for the first time. And he's like, if I can get the news on the dispatch from the police, I'll be in a better position to help people. And he utters up, up, and away, which was a shout that he used since childhood to focus his attention on hurling himself skyward. And he listens in on a potential story, a lynch mob attacking the county jail. So he decides to leap over and see exactly what's going on. And outside the county jail, there is that lynch mob's going on. They want to lynch this person, and a person named Sims. And they break in, and they get a hold of Sims, and they're literally going to hang him. And Superman orders them to put him down. And he says, he's going to be judged by a court of law, a court of justice. You need to return to your homes. And this mob is like, well, who are you? What are you? You know, you're begging for it. So they try attacking him, and obviously that does not work out. So Superman takes Sims back to jail, and the police are kind of like, who are you? And he's like, you know, I'm just a reporter. Let's get Sims back in his cell. And Sims tells him that he's really an innocent man, and the person, because he's accused of murder, and the person who really committed this murder was Evelyn Curry. Or the person accused of the murder is Evelyn Curry, who's being electrocuted tonight, but she's innocent. He knows who the true murderer was. So Superman passes some information on, and they say, well, only the governor can pardon him, and that's not likely. And Superman starts to think to himself, I got to do something about this. So he goes to a phone booth and he calls the Daily Star and says, hey, if I can get this story for you, will I get a job? And he said, okay, you can. So Superman is tipped off on who the murderer truly is. It's a singer named B. Carroll. And he goes to her lounge show, and she starts her show, and for some reason, they think it could be her subconscious, knowing that she's being observed for whatever reason. She decides she has a sore throat and can't complete her show. So Clark turns into Superman, meets her back in the dressing room, and he says, I know that you killed Jack Kennedy, who's the man that the woman's being accused of killing that's going to the electric chair that night. He says, Sims told me everything, and I think he'd be happy to repeat the story for the police after we take care of Evelyn Curry. And she's like, you know, the state's going to take care of that witch, and not long from now either. So she pulls a gun on Superman, and we see that obviously that doesn't work. And in the meantime, she's completely confessing to the crime, so Superman knows it's the truth. He shows her exactly how the gun isn't going to work and smashes it. And she's completely flabbergasted on what's happened. And he puts a little pressure on her. He's like, you seen what I could do with that gun when I applied pressure. You're coming with me. She's kind of like, stop, you're hurting me. She's like, but I'll get the chair for this. And he said, you should have thought of that before. So he takes her and he flies her to the governor's house. And as they get close to the governor's house, he gags her, ties her to a tree, and tries to get access to the governor. Well, the housekeeper is not going to let Superman in, the butler. That's not going to stop Superman. He rips the door off, and he kind of lifts the butler up with one hand and starts heading for the bedroom of the governor. And even then, they're like, he's not going to be able to get in. There's this big steel door, and Superman opens it up and just crunches it open. The governor's wondering what the meaning of this is. And Superman tells him Evelyn Curry's about to be electrocuted in 15 minutes for murder, and I have proof of her innocence. I have a signed confession. And just read this, you'll understand. And a gun gets pulled on Superman again. They completely shoot him in the chest, and nothing happens. So this time the governor takes a look at what they have while Superman tells him that the true villain is tied up, you know, on his estate next to a tree. Governor does call the state penitentiary in a hurry. So as they're bringing Evelyn out, she gets a pardon. She finds out that she's being pardoned by the governor, and she's like, thank the Lord. And they're looking for Superman, but he's disappeared. So the next day, we have Clark Kent looking at the Daily Star and seeing the story, and he's happy that B. Carroll was so shaken that she confessed all over again to the police this time, because he thought, you know, the confession he made her sign really wouldn't have stood up in court. And they said, but if Clark had known at that time, moments away in the governor's office, you know, they're talking about, I can't believe my senses. They're talking about Superman. Thank God he's on the side of law and order. Then at the Daily Star office, Mr. Taylor wants to see Clark Kent. He said, you did pretty good on that story yesterday, but it's child's play compared to your first assignment. Have you ever heard of Superman? And he's like, you know, is he a theory, or is he some of that Hitler garbage? Or he's like, no. He's a strange muscle man that prevented Sims's lynching. And he's like, he's got a big S on his chest and on his shirt. And your assignment is you have to find out about Superman. And he's like, well, I'll try. And then he goes over to talk to Lois Lane in her first appearance, and she says, you know, hello, Kent, I understand your pal, the Superman, dished out a little justice to a wife beater this afternoon. He's like, well, I just got there after he left, Miss Lane, isn't it? Why don't I tell you about it over dinner tonight? And she said, well, why not? It beats thinking about my Lonely Hearts column anyway. So he takes her out dancing, And there's some guys over there that think that Lois is pretty good looking. They want to stir the spaghetti sauce with her. So he says, go over and cut in, get rid of that wimp over there that she's dancing with. Well, they try to, and Clark pretends like he's intimidated by them and backs down a little bit. He's like, just go ahead, Lois, and dance with them. That will keep us safe. I'll leave. And she gets mad. She gives this guy a big old slap. And Clark's like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. And Clark goes to talk to Lois, but she's upset with him for telling her to dance with the guys, and she wants to leave. But what happens is the guy that was trying to dance with Lois and his hoodlum friends, which seemed like mobsters, they try to run over Clark. He realizes it's a job for Superman. They go after Lois. They chase her down as her car is put into a ditch. They get out and they kidnap her. And they're not exactly... they kidnap Lois. They're going to probably do horrible things to her. And as they're headed away, there's a man standing in the middle of the road. And they're like, run him down. He'll move. Well, he doesn't move. He leaps over the car. And then as the car starts speeding away as fast as it can, Superman is able to get it, grab a hold of it, lift it up. He shakes the passengers out onto the floor. He makes sure that Lois Lane gets out of the vehicle okay. And then as you see on the next page on the bottom panel, we have that iconic scene of the cover. Because he has one last job to finish. He's going to take care of that car. So there's the guys who are behind this. He decides to go after them, grabs a hold of them, and they're like, where are you taking me? He's like, you'll find out in a few seconds. And he hangs them up on a telephone pole, and he flies back to Miss Lane, and she's like, she's scared of him at first. She's like, I'm not associated with those men. They kidnapped me. I don't know why. And he's like, you don't have to be scared of me. But she's like, you aren't the one they call Superman? And he just picks her up and he flies her home. And then he says, I advise you not to print this little episode. And she goes, huh? Oh, sure. I won't. I promise. Goodbye for now, he says. She says, wait, I want to talk to you, learn about you. Then she's like, how did he know I'm a reporter? I'm sure not wearing my press card. And then the next day we see Lois at the Daily Star. She's telling her editor how she saw Superman in person. She met him. He saved her. He doesn't exactly believe her. He thinks that she might have made the thing up, and she's swearing to Mr. Taylor that she did not. And she's like, I know he didn't believe me, but he will when I get my very first interview with Superman. So Clark walks over and he's like, hi, Lois, I'm really sorry about last night. Don't be mad at me. And she's kind of like, oh, yeah, whatever, Clark, hello. He's like, I'm not a very physical person. Don't be angry with me. And she's like, well, Clark, I really wasn't thinking of you. I was thinking of somebody else. And he thinks to himself, I bet I know who. He says, something tells me that the next few years at the Daily Star are going to be very interesting and not the least bit frustrating. Then they go on to talk about how essentially he was correct. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy because of his decision to keep his real identity of Superman a secret from mankind. But it would be remiss to end this chronicle without adding that Clark Kent's relationship with Lois Lane gradually changed for the better. And in the early 1950s, they were finally married. This Superman, this Lois Lane, both are gone now. The very memory of their existence wiped from the slate of the world which came into being as a result of the crisis on Infinite Earths. Yet as long as men thrill to daring deeds, as long as they dream of high adventures and the throwing off the shackles of mortal limitations, the original Superman, who burst upon a startled world in 1938, will live. And that, hopefully, will be a very long time indeed.
Very cool.
And then on the next page, I don't know if you still have it, but they got a little pin-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, Lasso, have you read Action Comics 1?
I have.
Yeah, this was basically Action 1.
It is. There are a few elements
that are different. I know.
That are like she wasn't, his mom wasn't Lara. She had a different name originally in Action Comics #1. Okay. But for this, that they retold it. It's basically Action Comics #1 with just very slight tweaks in it.
Yeah. And I think Action 1, it was a set of separate stories, right? And then I think it came together in the end, whereas this, it kind of blended all into one.
I thought Action Comics only had one Superman story, and then the rest of the stories were different characters.
Okay, maybe
That's
I'm
what I
thinking of
thought.
something else then. Okay.
But it was fun to go back and revisit that, that they tried to stay true as they could in this post-crisis. So, the original ending, do you guys know what the original ending on Crisis on Infinite Earths was supposed to be?
I don't think so.
It was supposed to be the Earth 2 Superman, after everything had settled down, like near a mirror or something like that, and he brushes the white streaks out of his hair that was just like something he put in to appear that he had aged, and he hadn't at all. And then he is going forward to be the Superman after Crisis. Is the one and only Superman. That was the original plan of how the book was going to end.
Weird.
Very cool. Very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I liked it. I like both of those stories, actually.
Yeah, it was fun.
Tony?
Yeah.
Your turn?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now the secret origin of how Tony Quinn became Harley Quinn.
That is a great segue, by the way. So Mr. Fu, I was on vacation, and for those of you who don't know, I was on a cruise in the Bahamas, and Comic Fu 2814 came up on the cruise.
Did it say Fu was a furry in the ship?
No, but he is in trouble.
Oh, is he in trouble or is he in big trouble?
Big trouble in Little China.
Trouble. In Little China.
I mean, what
I'm gonna pop a picture up on my screen, and Mr. Fu, if you could do me a favor, and just go ahead and explain this, that would be great.
Sure. Oh, that is great. What is that?
That would be this bad boy.
Oh, I love it. That that is great. That's exactly what we needed.
Oh, and there's more. There are multiple.
Oh, look at that.
There are several of these.
How does a person order one?
I was just as questioning that as anybody else. So for those of you who don't know, my daughter and I share the same birthday, and we celebrated it. It's today, actually, but we celebrated on the cruise because it was different and unique. And everybody in my family that went on this cruise had one of these. So this is our formal evening. We're on the cruise, formal attire. You know what I mean? Like fancy restaurant style. They all have these for pictures. And the girl in the photo is my daughter. She's holding hers. So there's a plenty of these. They all had one.
And you're blaming me?
Yeah, hell yeah. Who am I supposed to blame?
Well, I mean,
Lasso didn't do it.
I was on vacation of this.
Lasso didn't do it.
I mean,
oh my goodness. So I was just wondering, I don't think you're putting these in your mystery boxes.
No.
Are you? But maybe you should,
No, those did not come from me, but I am very happy that they exist.
I'm not.
I think that's awesome. So a whole cruise got to see you as to Harley.
Oh yeah, about 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Funny. Did anyone ask about that?
Yes.
What
mostly people of foreign countries, like they didn't understand who it was.
Were they more or less confused after the explanation?
I'm sure they left having still absolutely no idea.
Okay. You're like, this is me as Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tried to explain to several people, like, this is from a movie, that I really dislike, from a character I could care less about. And they're like, but why does she have a mustache? You try it's a face swap, and they're like, okay. They didn't understand the joke, but yeah, about 5,000 people probably saw it. Probably more than that, to be honest with you.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's one word that I would use, maybe not the one that I would go with, but sure. So, yeah, I thought I was gonna have a nice week away from you guys.
There you go.
And incidentally, for the record, Tony, What's the first thing I said to you backstage tonight?
I didn't do it.
No, I didn't say that.
I don't remember.
I said happy birthday.
Yes, you
So
did.
I remembered. Now, in honor of your birthday.
Happy birthday, Tony.
I don't want it. Whatever it is, you keep it.
In honor of your birthday, with a special song, is Comic Fu.
Take it away.
Get out of here. You left me to clean up last week.
No, but it was a fun time. I was just not expecting that because there's this big fancy restaurant and they're doing like Hollywood style portraits. They got professional photographers in front of like green screens or whatever. And everybody just whips out these at the formal dinner table.
Hey, I'm sure those Hollywood people were wanting to talk to you too, huh?
There's a guy from Bosnia I was talking to, and he was like really interested in what these were. And he's like, is a lady like, I guess, maybe, I don't know.
So what you're saying is Tonely Finn has gone worldwide.
International. It went international this week. Yeah, global. Seen by people from over 80 countries.
This is great.
We're talking UN level awareness now.
Great.
I'm sure this is beyond everything you could possibly have hoped for.
Oh, absolutely.
I was not. But it was interesting. I will admit it was not what I was expecting because my wife was like being all secretive, like you would on a birthday with the birthday present. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like making sure that I didn't look in a certain diaper bag. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, fine, it's a birthday present. Like, that's not a big deal. But yeah, this was my birthday present. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday. And I got to find a place to put this ugly mug. So people can see it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
Little did you know that night when you joined the stream and told all of your family to watch.
Yeah, little did I know. So that's her standing. That was her little face they gave her. So.
And this is next year's cruise.
Yes. By the way, cruises are not for me. I will not be attending any more cruises in the future. I have lost all trust in my spouse. I don't even know how she pulled it off.
The glitter incident?
Oh, yeah. Like, you're right. I should have. I don't know what I was thinking. I was completely stabbed in the back. But what can you do?
Fun times.
Sure. Yep.
So how's the birthday been today?
Good. Driving from New Jersey all the way here with 2 little ones. Tired from being on the cruise. Had to get off the cruise real early. So, hey, made it home at a decent time. Caught up on a couple things because I still got to work tomorrow. So, yeah, still gotta go for my nightly walk. So that's a lot of fun, and it's raining. So,
oh wow,
yeah. And I didn't have internet access for like a week.
You had internet for a couple hours, and then you realized you were paying like $22.50.
No, I was in a Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
Yeah,
it was one of the stops. So
that's when he sent the picture.
That's why I was dressed like an astronaut. Yeah.
Yes.
And if you ask my daughter where we went to this space shuttle launch simulator, we went to Equestria.
Oh, Equestria.
Yeah, home of My Little Pony. Went to My Little Pony Planet.
Oh.
And back again, all in like 40 minutes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She had a lot of fun, but yeah, I'm back now. Happy to be back.
It's a cool mashup, Harley and the Ponies.
Harley and the Ponies. Sounds like a terrible band. If I'm Harley, you guys are the Ponies. It's only fair.
That's crazy.
Who's got a book show?
I'm going to go first because, I tried doing a book show last week and that didn't work out.
Yeah, go for it.
So, on my channel, my current comic book editions video is an A-OK from my friend in Brazil, Andre. So I wasn't expecting anything. Package arrived last weekend, so I opened it up and unboxed it in the video that's already on my channel. Also have a current back issue of the week up on my channel too. You can check that out. Tomorrow's back issue of the week is another DC book. Been pretty DC heavy on the back issues of the week, but it's another DC book, so that will be tomorrow on my channel. Tuesday's back issue of the week will be a JLA haul, and will also include an AOK from Silver Age Dave. So that's coming up. And for a book show, we were talking the goodness of foil last week for a little while. So there's the foil version.
Ooh, I like that.
Of
That's
Wonder
cool.
Woman #1, Volume 2, the George Perez. This
That
is
is
the facsimile. Foil version was just released a couple weeks ago. They did a regular facsimile, they did a foil version, and then they did a sketch cover. And they're doing all three of those for the upcoming Wonder Woman #1 from 1942 facsimile that's coming out in November.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That is a neat foil. I'll have to look that up. I kind of want one now.
It's a good one. Who would like to get that?
I will, because I'm going to make comic food Mr. Jealous here.
Nope.
So I was at Comic-Con and got this bad boy. I found it and got it signed at the booth of Philip Kennedy Johnson. And it is this really cool Green Lantern foil cover.
Yeah, what is that?
It is the same. Those foil covers that came out of the whole spectrum. It's another variant of issue 1. Limited to 500, and now I have one.
Where'd it come from?
To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure it was at Philip Kennedy Johnson's booth. And I should have asked, and I didn't. And for those wondering, this is the lithograph.
Oh, nice.
So signed by Jeff
Very
Johns
cool.
at the bottom. So yeah, it's pretty cool. You had no choice. That was it. So take it or leave it. So I took 3.
Yeah, you should.
But yeah, that's my book show. Baltimore Comic-Con haul, signature haul, coming very, very soon. I know there's a couple people begging for it, so stay tuned.
Nice.
Very nice.
And what's going on down your way on your channel, 2814?
Honestly, so I forgot a book show tonight, but I've just been so busy getting all this these boxes packaged up and shipping, so that's kind of been all I've been doing. I will have a new comic finds video coming this week. I think I've got 2 weeks of new books to show and my pickups, so that will be coming. And yeah, I think that's all for right now.
Okay, cool. Next week we're on your channel, and I think it's Tony's pick. So
more
Lord knows
hard.
what we're gonna get. We're gonna get that dog welder or something like that.
6-pack and dog welder. Come
Yeah.
on up, baby. Section 8 here to save the day.
Lasso has been living in fear ever since that night because he
It all
knows
depends.
there's a Wonder Woman episode there.
It all depends on your definition of save.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just say Kyle Rayner and Wonder Woman, neither of them made it out of that volume well.
Oh, there's a Kyle Rayner one? Oh, very cool. We got to have Tim on for that one.
Oh, please do. Please
All right.
do.
We'll put that one in the bag for whenever Tim is done playing hooky.
There is a great scene where Hal Jordan's yelling at Batman like, I know what they did to Kyle. And yeah.
Well, yeah, we're going to save that. This is going to be his first issue back.
Yeah. We will be so happy to do it.
Yes.
I'll just remove Tim's link from the description because he's not coming back.
now that we were threatening him, essentially.
Yeah, he's not coming back. So.
That's
But
too
the-
funny.
But anything else you guys want to add in before we wrap up?
I think that's it for me.
I'm good.
Awesome.
I want to thank
Well-
everyone for joining us here tonight and sharing your time with us.
Yeah, and if you watched on the rewind, thank you as well. This has been the greatest DC Comics show on YouTube, Fanboys Live, the Retro Review. We hope you have a fantastic week. We'll catch you soon.